What's up, folks? All right, it's time for chapter 2 of the old questions and comments. So, all right, here we go.
Thus proving that Lars did exactly the drums that those songs needed.
All right. See, this came from Injustice for Joey, and I get this comment all the time. Either they think, man, Lars sucks, this was awesome. But most people think, wow, this is completely unnecessary and self-indulgent, and wow, I see Lars as the perfect guy for Metallica. I get a lot of comments like that. It's kind of cool. I mean, I don't take anything personally with those because it's just a spur of the moment idea, and those are kind of like an experiment. I don't expect a pat on the back for whatever happens in those songs. It's more like, well, it could be cool or it could suck, but it's a cool idea, cool experiment. But it's nice to see that Lars gets some props from people for a change, because most of the time, the only time people mention the guy is how much he is shit. I can pat myself on the back for that. I got some people to admit that Lars is the right guy for Metallica. But I also responded to this guy and said that, yes, you're right, I agree. But you should watch Psychosocial Lars, because I play Psychosocial like Lars Ulrich, and he would probably agree that, yes, Joey is the best guy for Slipknot. That's still one of my favorite videos. There's been times where I've just like watched the first minute and 15 seconds of that song, and it's like, that is just perfect, man.
It's India versus Pakistan Champions Trophy cricket match. Still can't miss your stuff. A big hug from Indian fans.
Yeah, that's very cool, man. It's much appreciated. I never thought I'd have people in India watching the stuff I do. I mean, it's crazy.
That's quite a weird double stroke roll technique, to be honest.
That's what she said. Boom!
Can I steal your ping ride?
If Metallica recruits me, you can have it.
That middle part where you're hitting the crashes in between that snare roll, you don't actually alternate hands. If you watch Jay play it live, he uses one hand on the same crash and the other on the snare. I'm not here to judge, everyone plays it different. Just saying that's how Jay plays it.
Now, you might think from my last questions and comments that I'm going to end up flipping out on this guy, but no, that's awesome. I always encourage people to do whatever's right for them. If you hear something and you can play it a certain way that makes you feel better, always go that way. But my first thought would be, well, if I did that, I wouldn't have as much impact on the snare. So instead I would go, right? He wrote back.
I thought the same thing. I guess he just hits really hard on those notes. Either that or he plays it different from the studio. By the way, since I have your attention, how do you stay consistent when doing those really fast double bass parts, where you basically run on the pedals? I've been drumming for a long time, and I've always struggled with that.
So do I, man. I still do. But if you're talking like the double bass and AOV, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But I struggle with the faster stuff. If that speed is difficult, you're probably using too much leg. I notice that's if I ever have a problem. It's usually a slower double bass, like right under that. And if it was doing like the skank beat, like the mid-tempo kind of power metal kind of thing, my legs always get real bouncy, and I feel like they're going like really fucking high, and that screws me up. So what you gotta do is probably focus more on your ankle twitch. Also, I play in the middle of the pedal. Sorry, I don't got the other camera on, but here's your bass pedal, right here. I'll play right here. That's where my foot is. I don't put it way up here. Okay, I put it right down there, because that way you kind of have you got a little bit of a, I don't know what you call it, but there's a little more of a lever action to it. You're not just simply taking here and then pushing that down. You're more like flicking it. You can get a little more thwack out of it. At the same time, you don't, you don't actually have to exert much energy. So essentially all I'm doing is this. If you can do that, all you're doing is throwing in your other foot in between, right? So I think it boils down to how you're exerting your energy, and try using the middle of the pedal. You have a little less work to do, and it gives you kind of a centrifugal force where it thwacks it. Where if you're hitting on the top, you're just kind of taking that beater and hitting it, and then it's, you know, you don't have any thwack to it. So basically, as it's going, I'm already done. I'm back in position for when the pedal comes back, and you know, I can keep doing that as opposed to right. Over time, you can keep picking up speed. You know, there's a certain amount of time I can do it and be fine. Then it starts to burn. And I'm obviously exerting too much energy, or I'm putting that energy somewhere where I could be saving it.
Josh, you never played anything from Death. You don't like it, or is there any other reason?
I get so many Death requests. Yeah, they just never really, they never did it for me. Once I started getting the death metal, there's like Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, Deicide. I ended up getting into Morbid Angel and Deicide the most. Death, I don't know. There's elements of it I like, but it always bothers me when songs change tempo, and it's like, I don't know. It's just, something doesn't do it for me.
What is the most difficult Slipknot song you've posted?
Well, I don't know about song. I mean, they all have their difficult moments. But if you want to watch some Slipknot stuff I did that, you know, basically killed me, watch the self-titled medley. I did one for Iowa, and I did one for the Gray Chapter. But man, that self-titled one, I went into it knowing that, oh, this is gonna suck. It's like, and when I was even putting it together, it's like, all right, right off the bat, I gotta do all this shit, and then hopefully not fail until I get to this really hard part, and then this really hard part, and then in the end, I gotta fucking kick it in overdrive, and now I'm tired, and that was easily the most difficult Slipknot one. So yeah, check out the self-titled medley.
What gave you the idea to have your 8-inch tom to the left of your hi-hats?
If it was here, my hi-hat would be way over here, and that's not what I'm used to. So instead, I'm going to keep everything the way it was, the way I'm used to it. But if I need it, it's right there. So some drummers do it with like another floor tom, but I figured, shit, I can make it where it's kind of a hassle to skip this, but you figure it out.
What do you prefer, Zildjian, Sabian, or Wuhan?
I like Zildjian and Sabian. I like them both, but I buy Wuhan because you can get a fucking crash cymbal that isn't horrible sounding for $70, and you just can't do that with other cymbal manufacturers.
Have you ever considered using a head drumsticks?
I bought a pair right when they came out, and I did not like them one bit. I kind of was getting used to them, and then I tried a wood pair, and I was like, man, everything sounds so much better. It just, I can't do the head things. Maybe they have some advanced, maybe they changed their ways since their beta model, but it's not for me.
Have you ever used Will You Ever Get a Metal Snare Drum?
I have a piccolo snare that's metal. I want as many snare drums as, like, you know, a woman has shoes. I'd like to have a closet full of snare drums.
Hey, what about playing some Mangini's era stuff?
No. Dream Theater is kind of like Korn. In Korn, there's David Silveria. He's one of my favorites. And then you got Portnoy, who is one of my favorites. Probably my most favorite. you know, out of all time. And it's almost like Dream Theater wasn't my style. Like, they can be kind of sappy, and Labrie kind of bothers me. So there's a lot of stuff I had to endure just because I had such an appreciation for Mike Portnoy. And they opened my doors to a lot of stuff I wouldn't have even put up with if it wasn't for the musicianship. But now that he's gone, it's just kind of, you know, I can't put up with Labrie. That's basically what it comes down to. I'm not going to tolerate him if my guy isn't there anymore. It's nothing against Mangini, because that guy's like an alien. But just you know, no thanks. All right, folks. I think that's gonna do it for now. So we'll see you next time. Yeah. Later.